Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned. Albino ranks every main gym leader battle theme in Pokemon from worst to best. We're doing one theme per generation from Red and Blue to Scarlet and Violet. So like the Kanto gym leader theme has been remixed 4 or 5 times because of how often you go in there in later games and remakes, right? Like Gold and Silver, Fire Red and Leaf Green, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, etc. But I'm only going to judge the original gym leader themes of each mainline game, including the Kahunas from Sun and Moon because that's basically the same thing. So what makes a good gym leader theme? Is it iconic? Is it nostalgic? Is it bombastic? Does it get your blood pumping and ready to win a badge? Does it create a focused state of determination? Or does it synthesize an enjoyable atmosphere in general that just makes you smile? The criteria is all over the place, but these are just my opinions as a musician and gamer. So let's get immersed in varying qualities of some Pokemon music out here, starting from worst and working our way to best. Black and White's gym leader theme is too simple for how little it's got going on. I only enjoy one section of it that happens around 30 seconds in that lasts about 13 seconds, and then everything before and after it is just forgettable filler. I like what the drums are doing sometimes, and I think the snare sound has a good punch to it, but in general I would call this one of the least recognizable gym battle themes and nothing to write home about. They remixed it a little in Pokemon Black and White too, and I'd say improved it a little bit, but remixes don't count, so this is staying at the bottom. Ruby and Sapphire's gym leader theme is another example of something that's too simple, and in this case it doesn't even sound that good. There's an air of compression around the whole thing that sort of mutes the atmosphere like it's being played from inside a bubble, and it never really gets going anywhere interesting except a couple very short-lived spots. For me, the build-up is better executed than the payoff here. It's got these quiet sections that are decent at building tension, but then they just lead to these blatty melodies that any middle school band class could have recorded. Also, for the first gym theme chronologically, to be able to implement drum sounds, they sure aren't doing a damn thing with them here, just alternating bass and snare hits that are unwavering in their mediocrity and add virtually nothing to the proceedings. Scarlet and Violet's gym leader theme has this sort of jazz-funk synth fusion thing going on, and as a sound I'm a fan, but after the intro the entire bass theme is completely sans melody and made up exclusively of background instruments. There's nothing noteworthy to listen to, nothing to hum along with, you're just kinda there while trumpets and saxophones take turns jumping in at random intervals to play like a couple notes before they GTFO and wait for their next turn. But what elevates this song above the last two is what happens when the gym leader you're fighting brings out their last Pokemon, because that's when the terastallization music kicks in, the crowd comes alive with a roar, and all of a sudden this theme turns into a whole-ass mood. Now not only is there something to hum to, but the voices in the background are literally doing it for you, and it's hard not to join in on the sense of community being conveyed here. It's a runoff copycat feeling from when Sword and Shield introduced the idea, but it still functions in this song to a lesser degree, and it's a fun vibe. Too bad you only get it for one Pokemon. Red and Blue's gym leader theme is an enduring classic that's been remixed more times than a blender at Jamba Juice. That said, if you're going to sit there and just listen to it as music by itself, it's probably not going to do a whole lot for you. Maybe you'll pull up some memories of the first time you beat Brock's Onix or Misty's Starmie, but it's no Lavender Town theme. Still, there's an airy quality to it that makes it sound very smooth, undoubtedly smoother than what was coming out of your Game Boy at the time, and hearing it in its full glory sits right with me as a listener. Deciding whether or not I like Gold and Silver's gym leader theme more than Red and Blue's was a tall order, and I'm still not 100% sure. It doesn't make sense, but Gold and Silver's theme actually feels a little more retro, like it's not mixed as well, which kinda gives it more of the nostalgia factor. In keeping with nostalgia, it's also easier for me to envision specific scenarios where I would have heard this theme as a kid. I played every Pokemon game in order from Red and Blue to Scarlet and Violet over the past 25 odd years, but I think my brain was better during the Gold and Silver years because I listened to this theme and I immediately think of Wendy's Miltank rolling my entire team out like an Autobot, or getting dynamically punched by Chuck's Poliwrath. I think this theme has a more consistent flow to it than Kanto's. There aren't many ups and downs, it's just straight melodic noise throughout, and especially if you pay attention to what I guess would qualify as a bass line, the low notes are doing a lot of heavy lifting in a way that shouldn't be understated, and it's fun to focus on. I was ready to write Diamond and Pearl's theme off as some basic whatever, but the more you listen to it, the more layers and creativity it reveals. First of all, that bass line is slapping. It's the star of the show for me, just going all I love that. And secondly, I believe this is the only main gym battle theme to use orchestral percussion instead of a drum set. So instead of your typical hi-hat, bass drum, snare shenanigans, you've got marching band style snare processions and double-fisted crash cymbals that keep the tension ratcheted up high at all times like you're on the battlefield going to war. The melodies aren't anything to write home about, which is what keeps it from ascending any higher than number 4 on the list, but the foundation is excellent for beating up all the Sinnoh region's terrible gym leaders. Going in, Sun and Moon's gym leader theme, or kahuna theme, I guess, is one where if you asked me to hum a single note in it, I wouldn't have been able to. And part of the reason for that is it's trying to be two different things at once. It starts out sounding like something out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, like I'm fighting an Egyptian god who wants to destroy the world with trading cards, and then all of a sudden, after about 40 seconds, it transitions into an actual Pokemon theme, and a good one at that. I don't know what the hell they were doing with this intro. I don't think the Forbidden Memories vibes are accidental parallel thinking either, because it makes me think of a very specific song from that game that uses a lot of the same tricks and flourishes, but everything after that part is fantastic. It sounds like what Ruby and Sapphire's gym leader theme should have been. It's expressive, it's optimistic, and those trumpets sound like they got their whole lives ahead of them. This isn't a relaxing day at the beach like you might expect from the Kahlua region. This song is emblematic of good-natured determination and the strength and effort to follow your dreams and succeed with the tropical breeze at your back. If this was the whole song, it could have a chance at being number 1, but those first 40 seconds are an obstacle to jump over. Sword and Shield's gym leader theme is a pure adrenaline rush. It's the power of every fan in the stands cheering you on. It's the drive to get out there and perform for the crowd, walking out onto the pitch and daring your opponent to just try and bring your team down. I think it's the most exciting atmosphere that Pokemon can possibly deliver. You can be fighting the first gym leader, and the air around you is still conducting an electricity you'd have thought only possible from an Elite Four challenge. The synth beat pounds with every kick, and the accompanying blips and leads accentuate the experience, but that's nothing compared to what happens when it's time to Dynamax. The Pokemon grows astronomically in size, and so does the noise from the crowd, chanting a melody that makes your heart sing. The first few times it happened felt indescribable, even though I just described it a little bit ago. It's just pulse-pounding excitement for people who want to feel good while they're battling, and even though I didn't put it as number 1, I sure wouldn't blame you if you did. X and Y's gym leader theme is a whole different vibe. It starts out more foreboding, more mysterious, with another bass line I love, reminiscent of Diamond and Pearl's theme, but eventually hits its stride and just rides that singular wave through the rest of the piece. Backup synth pads and a growling guitar create an ambience that I think is unmatched in terms of style. Like Scarlet and Violet's theme, it coasts with no melody for the majority of the time, but here, almost every note rings out and is held as if to be savored. When the guitar does come in to establish a melody, it's in no rush, and paints its musical canvas with long curved brush strokes. There's nothing demanding happening, it's just a perfect vibe, something you could listen to in the background for hours on repeat and just lull yourself into a zen-like trance. It's the perfect guitar sound and the chords are fire, and that's why I think X and Y has the best gym leader battle theme in the main games of Pokemon. Well, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Let me know if I should rank other music things in the future. Watch all my other videos with a trombone in each hand, and I'll see you guys next time.